Okay, good afternoon. How is everybody doing? Greetings. Thanks for joining us today. Happy Friday. Today is Wellness Friday. We come here to talk about our health, to talk about ourselves, self-care, or to encourage other people who are otherwise not aware of their health. So last week, we had the honor to have our sister Susan in the studio, and she briefly talked to us about different diseases associated with different things that are happening to your parts of the body. So today we just want to do an overview of how some of the diseases that we have are caused by some of the choices that we make. So if you're finding me for the first time, please share this video. If you're new, my name is Penny. If you've not liked my page, please do that and invite your friends. And we are going to talk about self-care. We are going to remind each other something that is so important, something that we all forget, or a part of our life that we forget, self-care, where we come from a culture where we are taking care of everybody else but ourselves. That's even in America, that's everywhere. People just take care of everybody but themselves. And that's why we come here to remind ourselves about our self-care. So now, as I speak here today, I'm sure there's someone who has just received a diagnosis and they've been told you probably have 6 months to live, you have a year to live, and they are dealing with the diagnosis. Maybe it was given yesterday. Some of you are waiting for your diagnosis, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. I just had a chance to do my mammogram and last week on Friday, and the doctors called me within 30 minutes after the mammogram. When I picked the phone and the nurse said, "Oh, Miss, is this Mrs. Bane?" I said, "Yes. This is so and so from the doctor's office. You just did a mammogram a few minutes ago, and we can see some abnormalities on your right breast." Let me tell you, you can't just say, "Oh, you're strong." Grace, hello, Kemto, how are you? You can't just say you're strong. "Oh, you know what? I'm ready." No. My heart dropped for a minute. I'm like, okay, the last time I did a mammogram was 2019. I had abnormalities on my left breast, and I had to go back for screening. And she said, "Oh, this time is on your right. So we need you to redo the mammogram ASAP, but we are going to send you to a different place to do the mammogram because this is not just a regular mammogram. They're going to scan deeper into your breasts to see what's going on in your breasts." So that was not easy. So that was Friday. Monday was a holiday. I went through the weekend with anxiety, waiting to see if I can get an appointment. And then on Tuesday, before I could even settle in at work to call the the place where I was going to schedule the mammogram, the place that I took the mammogram called me. I'm like, "Oops, this is serious." And the lady said, "Yeah, we're reaching out to you because we saw some abnormalities on your mammogram. We just need to rescan you." That is just my story. And I went back, I signed out from work. I went there, they did the exam. And when you do the second exam, this was even strange. They tell you not to put on your clothes. They take you into a room and you're seated there, and like a top and your bottom. And it was a couple of us there. We were like 4 women. So we started talking in our robes and asking each other, "How is everything?" So there was two women that were a little older. One was in her mid 50s and the other one was in her 40s. And both of us had come back there because there was abnormalities. This is the office that you go when you have some abnormalities. These are the things we are dealing with every day, and it's the reason that I took my time and said, you know what, let us use this space that Facebook has given us to create awareness on how to take care of ourselves. So the first thing I want to say, most of our diseases or most of our life day-to-day challenges come from broken relationships. You will talk to maybe 5 people. Within an hour or so, if you're talking to them that long, they're going to tell you something. They're going to tell you a story about their mother. They're going to tell you a story about their father. They're going to tell you about their sister. We find ourselves telling total strangers the challenges we are facing with our children, with our co-workers, with our spouses. We find ourselves just telling everyone who can listen to us that we are going through something. And it's through this something that we are going through that causes most of these diseases. Yesterday, I shared a story about my mother and my father. I grew up with both parents. My parents were present in my life. And I can tell you, I could not wait to leave my parents' home because my father was always quarreling somebody. Like, that's what I was born into. There was always like some friction. Every time I saw my father, he was always quarreling someone. He was quarreling the workers. He was quarreling the wives. Like my dad was not this person that had good days. I never saw good days. But the kind of personality I have, and now I know who I am, or rather I've come to really know who I am, or as I came to know who I was, at an early age, I told myself there are things I'm going to take from my father, but there are things I'm not going to take from my father. And one of the things I chose not to take from my father was quarreling my mother. Every time I turned around, he was quarreling my mother. So my father came here in 1997. He asked me to come for treatment. And when he came for the first time, I had a chance to ask him, why was he always quarreling? Earlier, I had asked my mother, why were you always unhappy? My mother was always sick. There was no time that my mom really, felt okay. And she told me that the amount of stress she was dealing with being in a polygamous home did not allow her to even feel good. So every time my mom was miserable. So my father told me the kind of family that he had chosen, which is a polygamous family, there was no other way to have everybody in control. The only way he was going to put this family together is be like that. And he said, I was in charge, I was the leader, and I used to assign work. I used to give your mothers work to do while I was away at my place of work. And when I came back, if this work was not done, he asked me, do you expect me to smile with your mother? Because she really never followed my instructions. So according to my father, my mother was supposed to follow all the instructions that he gave. He did not want to be challenged. He did not want to have a discussion. I'm giving this long story to tell you, some of us, we are going through what we are going through because of the relationships that were modeled to us, and we are carrying some of these things into our relationships and continuing in the next generation. Meaning, you saw your father beat your mother, you're going to beat your mother. You saw your mom beat your father, you're going to do that. We just continue. You've heard of people who say, I'm a big bond person. My family, we are big. It's because they cook the same way, they do the same things. Things are carried, the values are carried, the lifestyles we live with our families are carried from one generation to another. So I went through all that to explain to you that most of our chronic illnesses or acute illnesses, some of the illnesses that we have, are caused by broken relationships. That is something that we need to take so seriously. People who have healthy relationships have a healthier life. They're able to discuss their finances. They're able to resolve their conflict. They're able to correct one another. They're able to support one another when they're in crisis. But if you're married to someone who doesn't want to talk to you, you're married to someone, every time you see them, they're already angry, you're not going to tell them when you have a headache. So this book, I bought this book very many years ago, and it talks about living a healthy life with chronic conditions. And it talks about self-management, heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, asthma, bronchitis, eczema, and other diseases that are associated with human beings. But the writer, the reason why I took this class, when I took this class, it's because I used to work in a group home, and one of my responsibilities was to make sure that the clients were eating a balanced diet, where I needed to do a menu plan, where I needed to speak to the dietitian, to the nutritionist, to put meals together that were balanced, to give the clients the balanced diet that they need based on some of their diagnosis. Because if you're diabetic, there's some food you can eat. If you have high blood pressure, there's some food you can eat. There are diseases that once you have these diseases, they are not going to agree with certain foods. So I attended this class, and they gave us this book. This is the workbook that they gave us, and I decided to buy the book and keep it. And they are talking about chronic and acute diseases. So we have chronic diseases, which are long term, and we have acute diseases. They wanted us to identify these kinds of diseases. So when we talk about acute diseases, okay, they are rapid. They are quick. All right, when they begin, they are quick to begin. The chronic illnesses take a long time. It takes you a long time to be diabetic. It takes you a long time to be to have what do you call this, high blood pressure. It's an accumulation. It takes a while. Okay. Some of the acute diseases are usually like there's one cause. Okay. The chronic illnesses is a combination of things that are put together, and then you find yourself with this disease. The duration, the acute diseases are shorter, and the chronic illnesses are indefinite. You can live with a disease for 20, 30 years, and it's there. You just have to manage it. Okay. When they say the diagnosis are commonly accurate. Is something that they test and they find it right away. Okay. But some of these chronic illness, they are often uncertain. Okay. Especially when they start. Sometimes you don't even catch them. Okay. And then the treatment for acute diseases, some are just cure. The cure is common. Okay. You can find, maybe you have a cold, you can cure that. But if you have some kind of cancer, or if you have maybe some kind of diabetes, the cure might be rare. You just have to find ways to cope with the disease. The role of a professional who's, let's say I call myself a professional, meaning my role when I'm talking to someone who is dealing with a certain disease is to try and tell them how they are going to live with that disease without interfering with their day-to-day quality of life. Some of them might need a coach, like in the clients who have developmental disabilities. The staff are given those roles to make sure that the client is taking the right food. For instance, there's some medications when you take, if you have a certain disease and you're taking certain pills and you eat a grapefruit, they've written on the medication, when you read the medication, that this medication is going to react with the grapefruit. So when you get the meds, you have to read the meds, read the side effects, read the desired effects, read what's going to happen. Make sure when you get the medication, you're reading all the medication, because some of you have some illnesses, you get medication, you start taking medication, and then the next thing you know, the medication is reacting to something, because when you picked the medication from your healthcare worker or from the pharmacist, you just didn't even ask what is expected, what are the side effects, how long am I going to take this. Some of the medications that we take for our illnesses can cause new diseases. So you need to know, if I'm taking X amount of medication for such a long time, it's going to cause X amount of diseases. So you should be aware. Okay. And then they continue to talk about how these cycles, how these diseases come along. How sometimes a lot of people find out that they are not well. So some people start having, let's say, body aches, your shoulders are hurting. All of a sudden you're feeling pain on your shoulder, like this shoulder has been hurting me. You're just feeling joint pain here. Okay. And then some of you are just anxious. You can't sleep. You're trying to sleep. You're having sleepless nights. You're anxious about things you don't even understand why you're anxious. So the stress, when you're feeling a certain way, is when you're going to start thinking that, you know what, I don't normally feel this way. Why am I feeling this way? Then you want to do maybe more tests. Okay. Some of the times, how for us in my job, we know that the client who doesn't have a speech is unwell, is the way they're handling their emotions. Some of you used to be able to contain, hi Brandon, to contain your emotions, but all of a sudden, because your body functions are not working okay, somebody can ask you just a simple question, and the way you respond, you're not able to balance those emotions. So for the non-verbal clients, you will know that a client is not okay because they can even start punching walls. They can start punching the other clients. They can just even punch you, or you give them dinner, you make food for them, they throw the food at you. So that is how sometimes you're able to know that, you know what, somebody is not okay. If you're not really feeling like you're stable, like things are not going okay, every little thing is annoying you, you might want to go and get your blood work checked. You need to go to the doctors and see what's happening. Sometimes when we are going through all these things, most of us end up in depression. Depression is when you're just feeling like you're just sad, like nothing is really making you happy anymore. Some of us remove ourselves from the community. Some of us, we are not attending, things, that events that we used to attend. Some of us just don't want to be bothered. If somebody's calling you, how you doing, you just get rude. For some reason, you're just sad. Okay. Another thing is sometimes you're just tired. There are times you just wake up, you're just waking up in the morning and you're tired. You're like, what did I do? You've done nothing and you're just feeling tired. Then you ask yourself, what exactly did I do? Why am I tired? Sometimes you could be battling a certain disease and you don't know. That's why you're tired, because you're not okay. Your body is telling you you're not okay because the energy you used to have is no longer there. So what happens, people just go by walking around with the disease because they're not listening to their bodies. They're listening to, to other things. They are not paying attention. You're not paying attention to say, you know what, my head hurts. Oh, why is my back feeling this way? My feet. Some of us, we don't even check our body. We don't inspect our own bodies to see how we are feeling. You're just tired and you just go through only to find out that you are carrying a disease, or you've been roaming around with a disease. And by the time you're going to go to check the diagnosis, your disease that you've been carrying for maybe 6 months has gone too far. Okay. Some of us, we don't even do the yearly visits. You know how we have our yearly visits where you go and get checked, do your blood work, because some of the diseases are not caused by us. Some of the diseases are passed down through our families. So you find yourself with a disease that is already waiting. It just needs a little thing to trigger it. The disease has been sitting with you, and now with time, maybe with age, the disease reveals itself. That's when you go to the doctor, you find that the doctor is asking you all kinds of questions. So that way they understand your family history. So that way they can, gauge what really to focus on, because some diseases just pass you through and you're not even aware that it's there. But when you do the screening, the diseases that were in your family, the doctor is able to know what to look for as they are doing your testing. So Today, that's what we wanted to talk about. To be self-aware of these diseases, you have to learn to manage yourself. How do you manage yourself? Through self-care. We talk about self-care. It is when you're sitting down, you're looking at yourself Monday through Friday. What have you been doing? What is your schedule looking like? Do you make time to eat? Some of the healthcare workers are working double, triple. They are working around the clock. Yes, you're getting the money. What are you going to do with that money? You're going to take that money and start going for treatment with that money, because after some time, the money is not going to give you your health back. You start going to the doctors. You're going to be put out because you know what? You did not make time to take care of yourself. You had time to take care of everybody else but yourself. You need to learn how your body works. Some of us, we don't pay attention to our body to know that, you know what, I'm feeling tired. You know what, I don't need to do this. Some of us just want to keep going. As we get older, some of our parts of our bodies just get old. If you're having muscle pain, if you're having back pain, if you're having joint pain, do not ignore that. Pay attention to your body. When you're feeling some kind of way, pay attention, because you know what, your body is telling you something. Stress. Try as much as you can to build those good relationships, because the good relationships are the ones that help us to cope with the challenges that we face. Everybody has challenges. There's nobody who's going by life and they will tell you that everything is okay. So if you can learn how to manage your stress, or when you're in crisis, if you can have a network that is able to solve your problems or that is able to hold you, you're not going to have that much stress like anybody else. Our emotions. On Sunday, Abu and I talked about conflict resolution. And yesterday, when I was cutting the chicken, I was talking to my daughter and I said, we need to learn how to resolve our conflict. In the case of my mom and dad, there was no conflict resolution. It was just a one-way conversation. My dad said what he had to say and he was gone. He didn't care what her thoughts were. He didn't care if she was in agreement. He didn't even want an explanation why she didn't do certain things. So that was a one-way conversation. And you know what? So my mom kept holding on to her thoughts. There was nobody to respond to. This person she was supposed to respond to is gone. But the challenge we have when it comes to emotion, when some of us are in conflict, we are quick to say things that we can't take back. We are quick to end relationships that we have had for so long. We are quick to say that, you know what, moving forward, I don't want to talk to you or so and so. Only for you to find out a few months later, this person that you quickly cut off your life was your support system. Now, you're not able to pick the phone and call this person and say, you know what, which is most people, I'm sorry, I was wrong, especially after you find out that you are wrong, you know? For you to be able to take care of yourself, you need to be your self-manager. You need to manage yourself. You have to sit down and look at your life and decide where do you want to go with your life. Decide what do you want to accomplish. Take a piece of paper and a pen. Write down some of the things that you want to accomplishment for your self-care. You have to write it down to be able to see it. You know, we deal with things we can see. The things you can see, you can see. You can see I'm wearing earrings. Not just being told. Write it down and tell yourself that moving forward, I want to accomplish A, B, C, D. Okay? If there are things that you have written down that you want to accomplish for your health and you are not able to do them, you can ask somebody to help you. Seek a professional help. If it's a therapist, call one. If it's a dietitian, you can find one. If it's a nutritionist, seek one. Go out there and do your check, call, and care. Look at where you are. Look at your body. Listen to your body. Decide that, you know what, moving forward, I need A, B, C, D. If, for instance, you are unable to plan your meals, find a well-organized person. They will help you plan your meals. Start those things like short-term goals, the things that you have decided that you're going to do. Start with even just buying the food, just going food shopping and deciding that, you know what, this week I'm going to buy bananas, I'm going to buy oranges, I'm going to buy apples. Start with the things that you're going to be able to accomplish. Don't start with the big goals. For instance, if you're talking about weight loss, look at your weight. Or if you're 200 pounds, how much weight do I want to cut? Okay, what is the cause? What's causing me to gain all this weight? What can I do? Once you've decided, if it's food you're going to change, if it's the portions, whatever you have decided to do, make it something that you're able to accomplish so you don't feel like you're not winning. Check the results every few days. Look at yourself, evaluate, where you've come from, how far you've gone, and say, you know what, I did A, B, C, D, I'm here. Just check, okay? If there are changes that you need to make those changes. Do not hesitate to alter your life for a short time or for a long time. All right? Don't be afraid to make those not so much drastic changes. Don't be afraid to make those changes, because now you're talking about your wellness. You have to decide moving forward. If it's bad relationships that are causing you anxiety, you have to come to a point where you're going to say that, you know what, this has to come to an end. Especially if you have a relationship that is pushing you to the edge, putting you down, you're pushing yourself, you're trying, and you come to a conclusion that no matter how much I try, I'm not getting anywhere. There's a book I read a couple months ago. It's called Necessary Endings. Necessary Endings talks about necessary changes. Some of the things that you've been doing for so long have to come to an end. Some of the relationships that you've had for so long have to come to an end. Okay? Remember to look at yourself and pat yourself on the back and say, you know what, I've accomplished. Once you accomplish, even if it's a small thing, tap yourself and say, you know what, I've done this. Even if it's making fresh food, be like, you know what, at least today I made fresh food. You have to, the only way you're going to accomplish is to give yourself credit. Because sometimes by the time we realize that we are dealing with a chronic illness, we are down, we've beaten ourselves down so much, we are not able to bring ourselves back. So when you achieve those little things that you have achieved, celebrate them and pat yourself. You're number one cheer. There's nobody who's going to cheer you. You're going to cheer yourself, because you're the only one who knows the truth, what your health journey looks like. People can assume, but you know what? Nobody knows where you come from and where you're going. Okay? If certain things you're trying for a month or so and they're not working, you need to try other things. Consider checking other people or other programs, because you could be doing something and you know what, you're not even aware, you're thinking you're achieving and you're not really achieving anything. After a few months, do a self-evaluation and say that, you know what, this is not really taking me anywhere. Let me try something else. Okay? And they're talking about take care of your illness, whatever diagnosis that you have found. The fact of life is, even if you have a disease that is going to kill you within 6 months, you are going to die. If you live to be 100, you're going to die. Regardless of the time you have here on planet Earth, once you find out you have the disease, in the end, you're going to die of old age. So once you find the diagnosis, once you know what the problem is, if you have anxiety, if you have depression, if you have diabetes, if you have high blood pressure, whatever diagnosis you have at hand, even alcoholism, try to take care of that illness. Treat it as an illness. A lot of us also don't treat alcoholism as a disease, but it is a disease, because some people drink so much, they've become alcohol dependent, that without the alcohol, they're not able to function. While you're doing all these things, trying to get your life back together, continue with your normal activities, because your normal activities, we are talking about how you're going to be productive to be able to even afford the food. So that brings me to the financial part of life. Yesterday, we talked about Procrastination Thursday. We talked about people working hard to create several ways to create an income to be able to take care of themselves. So you're not going to have a healthy life if you're not able to afford the food. You're going to be eating bad food. You're not going to be able to have a good house. You're not going to be able to go to the doctor to see the doctor. You won't have insurance. So part of your wellness, continue your daily activities that are productive, that are going to enable you to earn so you can be able to afford that food that you want. And finally, and work hard on managing your emotions. That is the biggest challenge I see with a lot of people. People are not able to manage their emotions. We are quick to get upset. We are quick to say things. We are quick to end relationships without thinking what benefits these relationships were bringing into our families, or what these relationships were bringing into our personal life. Because sometimes you feel like you can do it by yourself, but the fact of life is you're not able to do it by yourself. God created Adam, and then he puts Adam in the Garden of Eden with the animals and the fruits and the vegetables. After a few days, he figured that, you know what, he can't just be here by himself. He figured that Adam was lonely, and he brought Eve. When Eve was brought to the Garden of Eden, before you know it, they fell into sin. Before you know it, they started having children. And from that time up to now, from what we are told when you look at the history, we can't just live by ourselves. We need people. We need our families. We need to maintain those values. So if you want to have these healthy relationships, you have to manage your emotions, because that's what makes good relationships. Because 1 minute you're with this one, the other minute you're with that one. If you're not able to manage your emotions, you're not going to be able to have a good network. And your good network is your good net worth. Now, finally, a lot of us don't believe in taking supplements, but I want to talk about supplements for a minute. Over the years, I gave my children vitamins since a certain age when they were young, because we live in a country where we don't grow most of our food. Most of our food comes from Nicaragua, Mexico, Uruguay. If you go to the Produce Junction, for those of you who have seen me go to Produce Junction, the avocado is coming from another country. Most of the time, the food is coming from different countries. So by the time that food leaves the tree and it gets to us here, sometimes it might not have all the nutrients. So in the process, we here in America, not so much in Kenya, our food is processed, so we don't get the nutrients that we need. And it's the reason I encourage families, even in Kenya, not just in America, to give your family supplements. Give your family supplements, it's okay. And some of these supplements, people have taken time, they have studied the supplements, and they will tell you the benefits of taking supplements, because we are in a time that we are not able to grow our organic food the way we used to grow our food. So for those of you who are in America right now, I'm in the program of the wellness program for Juice Plus. Brandon, could you please give me those supplements from up there? Yeah, all the colors. There's 3 colors. There's one more like this one. So I started this in I started taking this supplement, not me. I started them with my mother in 2019 when my mother got, she had a brain tumor. After the surgery, my mom was not able to eat for a long time. So while I was on Facebook talking to my friends, telling them the journey that was my mom going through. And a friend of mine called me, her name is Kemuto, and introduced me to these supplements. These supplements, they have a vegetable, it's put in a capsule. They have it in a capsule, that's a vegetable. If you're in Kenya and you're interested, we can find a way to bring them to you, okay? And then we have the fruits. We all need our fruits, and they're also in a capsule, like that. And then we have your berries. Remember, your berries is the ones that have the antioxidants. Remember last time I was picking the blueberries, I picked the blueberries and froze them for the season when they are fresh. And that is the berry. So what I do with these supplements, not just me, my husband and the kids, I take 2 of each. This is 6 of them every day, all right? So you take 2 of each. And then when you buy the adult package, it comes with the children. So the children get the vegetable, those are vegetables, and they get the fruits, and they are gummies. So it's easy for the kids to eat. Yeah, like that. So for those of you who are in America, this is something I have tried since, or rather been part of since 2019. You can reach out to me if you're in Kenya. We'll find a way to bring them to you. But even if you don't try this, there's supplements, different supplements. Do you see any other supplements there? Let me see the ones for Ryan's vitamins. Yeah, give me that. And then there's another one. Okay. Ryan takes this. This is sold wholesale from Costco. And these ones have, this is cranberry. And then there's one more, a big one. No, not that. I don't even know the name. It's big. Yeah. Okay. I give this to Ryan. This is a dietary supplement. Sometimes the children don't eat well. And then I give him the multivitamins. Okay, this is for the diet. These are multivitamins. This is something I do every day, and I've done it for such a long time. Some parents don't believe in that, and I can tell you I believe in that. That's how I raised my children. My children have been healthy. And then for the urinary tract, this is for women. You can find this in Walmart. It's cranberry. It's also a health supplement. Some people might say that you're taking a little too much of something, but let me tell you, it's hard to get these nutrients from just regular food that we cook. That is the truth. Look at how you're cooking, look at how you're eating. Some of these supplements have been made easy so we can get them in gummies, especially those of you who don't like tablets. So inbox me if you have any questions, especially about the Juice Plus. We'll get you on, we'll walk you through, and then we are going to mentor you. We have dietitian, we have nutritionists, we have life coaches. We have all kinds of people in this program that are going to walk you through the program. A few of you have signed up this month. We have a few people that have joined, and they're giving people a break for a whole month to join for free. Normally you pay like $52 to join. So if you're in the United States, even if you're in Kenya and you want us to send them to you, inbox me and we'll get you to good, healthy lifestyle, okay? Some of you might need guidance to just get started. If you're one of those people that need guidance to get started, go to my page. My number is 856-304-3371. 856-304-3371, and it's on the page. Who can't afford to buy any, you assist them. Yes, wherever you are, let me know. If you need help, we'll assist you. It depends on where you are. If you're in a place where you can't afford certain things, we will find a way for you. Let me tell you, Jared, let's say you're in Kenya now. I want to use you as an example. what I'm going to do for you, let's say you can't afford anything, I'm going to buy you oranges. You just need something that is going to build your immune system. I'll give you a location. You're going to go to that location. You pick oranges once a week. And that's the deal we are going to have. You make sure you have 5 oranges. You're eating one a day. Is that a deal? I'll give you 5 oranges a day and I'll pay for them. That's something that is so easy. I have a phone. I have the M-Pesa. I just send you to a location and you pick your 5, actually not 5, 7 oranges. And that's a deal. I tell you, go to location ABC because I'm connected everywhere. Go get your oranges. That is all you need to boost your immune system. Eat 1 orange a day. We are doing these extras because we can afford it. But if you cannot afford to buy some of these things we have, try to eat 1 orange a day. Try to eat 1 fresh vegetable a day. My time is up. I was only to give you guys 40 minutes and it's up. Thank you for watching. Share this video. I appreciate your support. Our goal is to inspire 1 person. Our goal is to educate 1 person. I hope somebody learned something today. And our goal is to unite people by building good relationships. So Penny's goal every single day when she stops whatever she's doing to come here is to inspire someone. Make sure you feel good after you leave here. At least you're feeling positive. Be encouraged. I put a post the other day. I said, some days I wake up, I feel accomplished because when I look at what I have done, I came from a village in Nyandochevere where I went to school with no shoes. I was going to school without shoes from nursery to 3rd grade. I could not speak English until I was in 4th grade. I learned to speak English when I was in 4th grade. I moved from that school. I was taken to a school where you were forced to speak English. That was a disaster and the biggest slavery mentality ever. I don't know why they wanted us not to speak Ekeusi, which I speak well, because by the time they moved me, I was already fluent in writing and reading, because the teachers in Nyandochevere were teaching in Ekeusi, and even our report cards are written in Ekeusi, which was beautiful. I don't know why they changed that. And then I left there and I went to Eronge Primary Boarding School in class 6, 7, and 8. I passed so well. I was so proud of my accomplishments. I remember myself, and I made it to a school that I wanted to go to, Sironga Girls High School, which was a Seventh-day Adventist high school. They selected me to go there, and they had a maroon you to be there. When I got there, by the way, I've not told you, from class 6, I think class 5, I was already like leading the class. I was what they call in Kenya prefect. So when you are put a prefect, that was an accomplishment. So I felt accomplished from 5th grade. I was put in leadership all along. In class 7, I was the assistant head girl. In class 8, which is they call America 8th grade, I graduated as the head girl of the school. And I was proud. And there was a head boy. We were the ones running the school. So I was feeling accomplished for the most of my life. I left there, I went to Sironga Girls. Form 1, I was a prefect. Form 2, I was a prefect. Form 3, I was given the honors to be an assistant head girl. By the time I finished Form 4, I was the head girl. It's because I'm always pushing myself to success. I'm always driven to wake up. I can wake up anytime. When I want something, I go for it. So far, I just gave you so many accomplishments, according to me. Left Sironga Girls, arrived in America at 19 years old. At 19 years old, I was working 11 at night to 7 in the morning. And I would take the bus. I used to take 2 buses to connect to go to the school. I did my school for 2 years. I got a diploma for 2 years as an international student. I felt so much accomplished. But that came to an end of me going to school. I was done. I just could not go back to school because I did not have papers. So up to that point, I was feeling accomplished. Then life went on. I was waiting to be given my papers. I did not get my green card until 14 years. Those 14 years, I'd had all my children. No, actually, I had had my 3 children. Got married, felt accomplished. But when things don't go right, so far I'm giving you all the positives. I have things that have failed, like not getting my papers, not attending my father's funeral. You understand? Not being able to move from job to job because I didn't have papers. the bad relationships within my family that I've even spoken about here, broken relationships. Those are things, there are people that I broke relationships with and I miss them, yeah, but I just don't want them in my life. I figured if I remove them from my life, I'll probably succeed. So those are like some of the achievements. I'm here to tell you now, I'm raising 4 children, ages 24, 21, 18, and 11. And I work hard. In fact, since I wake up, I work hard to make sure that my children have what they need, to make sure that I'm guiding them to where they are going to go. Those are my short accomplishments that I can remember from nursery to school to now. So you have to push yourself. I know a lot of you wish. Today I was listening to NPR News. They're talking about the Prince Charles and the Queen Elizabeth. She has died. A lot of us wish we were born into these rich families, because you're just going to inherit wealth. You're born into wealth. So you don't have to work your whole life. You're just going to be there and everything is going to be done for you. But where are the rest of us who wanted to make a difference so their children can be born into money? Why can't you make your children to be born into money? You have, since you turned 18 up to now, you should have turned yourself into a bank. So when your children are born, they are born into a rich family. So when your grandkids are born, they are born into a rich family by making the right choices for yourself, by doing the self-care. I want my grandkids to be born and find that, you know what, grandma did A, B, C, D. Don't just wish you were born in a rich family. Turn yourself into a rich person by making the right choices, by taking care of yourself. I talk about self-care all the time. After all those things, I decided that 2012, I'm going to have a day for me where I'm going to reflect and do this. And I'm giving time to my friends and family on Facebook. I decided that I'm going to dedicate Friday to me. So, see my flowers, I buy the flowers, the colors that I like, because I like yellow. Some days I'm going to like blue. Some days, it depends on what I'm going through. So I get myself flowers because I want the flowers, and I want yellow flowers. It's not anybody who has to give me flowers. I want to go there, depending on the week, and choose the kind of flowers I want, because you know what? It's only me at my age who knows what I want. It's choices. If you have not been the person that has not been making good choices for yourself, that's where we are here to guide you through the whole process, reflect where you're coming from, decide where you're going, and your health is going to be your number one priority. Because if you're not well, you're not productive. Your brain is this small. The brain is a very small part of your body. But the brain is what determines what you're going to do at what time. When I finish this video, I'm going to go do my nails. I already have it set like that. This morning, I told you I had errands. I came on live. I have 1, 2, 3 to do. The brain is a very small part of the body, but it's what's carrying all of us around. The brain is what determines where you're going. If you occupy your brain with other people's business, you will not have space to grow. We occupy ourselves minding everybody's business and we neglect ourselves. The brain is small. Don't feed it with people's businesses, because you don't have a big part of your body to feed. You don't feed the legs. When you're gossiping, you don't use your hands. You don't use your legs. When you're gossiping, minding everybody's business, you're using your brain. You're occupying a part of your brain. If you have 100% brain capacity, you're giving 50% to other people's business. You're not going to succeed that way. You have to sit, focus. Once in a while, you mind people's business, but do that in moderation, because there's not enough space in your brain to occupy your brain with other people's business. Take care of yourself. If need be, you need someone to guide you through, reach out to me. Thank you for watching and have a lovely weekend. It's Penny Day. Let me get myself together to go and do my nails. Cheers and take care of yourself. If you've not liked my page, please do that. I appreciate your support. For those of you who are faithful followers, thanks for sharing. Grace Omondi, how is the baby doing? Maurice Edward, I see you. Jera Romans, I saw you. Dennis, I see you. Paris, and I truly appreciate your support. I'm not without you, and you are the people that give me that challenge and motivation to come here once, at least once or twice a day. Chirono, how are you? Thanks for watching.